Welcome to Built from Scratch. On this show, we interview entrepreneurs under 30 to hear about the stories of their initial success. My goal is to encourage the next generation of leaders to take action and make a difference. I'm Eric Libby, and on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what I do on the weekends to set up for a successful week ahead. Now, I'm going to preface in this episode and just say something that you've probably heard a million times, but I'm going to repeat it again. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. We only have so much of it. So when I'm thinking about going into a week, it's ensuring that we are planned, we are prepared, we are ready to go to make sure all of our time is utilized effectively. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about two different topics. First, it's going to be the three things that I struggle with, what typically distracts me, and when I have a bad week, so identifying what that looks like. And then the four things I do over a weekend to prepare when I have those weeks where I'm absolutely crushing it. The first of the three is going to be scattered attention for quick tasks. And so the problem usually arises when there is little emails, to-do list items, messages, Slack, anything else that's quick. And I try to randomly put those through bigger projects I'm working on. I'll start a task that requires deep work. I'll go into those smaller tasks and then trying to get back into the deep work. There's always a distraction. Number two is going to be an unstructured calendar. When I have a full day open, there's a random meeting in the middle. Can't focus. You're leading up to the meeting, you're thinking about it, and there's not enough time at the end of the day to jump back into something very effective. And the third one is going to be no clear plan for your next day. This is something that I've realized time and again when I just lazily go to the end of the day. Maybe I'm tired. I'm like, I will plan this in the morning. My days are not even comparable. It is much less effective. And I think almost what happens is it's not sitting in your subconscious mind. You don't plan your day the next day. And you kind of lose you lose intention. You get up and you're like, okay, what am I even doing today? And there's not the sense of urgency. So what I do to combat those three negatives is there's four things I do on the weekends to get my mind ready for that very effective week. And so the first one I do each Sunday, it takes me about an hour and a half, and that's a weekly reflection. And within that weekly reflection, there are 6 topics that I focus on. The first one is going to be reviewing my journal. So throughout the week, what I do is I like to write in my journal and then also have a digital one on my computer. So I'll write notes on my computer if I'm there. Otherwise, I'll write it in my notebook. And so what I do in that weekly reflection is I'm going to go back and review all the notes. It could be quotes. It could be suggestions from people. It could be things that I learned, observed. Just get my mind back focused on. I actually add it to a database on my computer just to make sure I have it all in one place, very organized. And what it does is, again, just makes me reflective. I'm thinking back up to my past week and what can I take in? What learnings can I take into that next week ahead? Second one is actually writing a reflection based on what I just had in my notes. So I'm going back, instead of just copy and pasting my notes, I'm going to actually go back as well and write a reflection. Take about 10 minutes to go back a couple paragraphs. What did I do last week? How can I be better for the week ahead? And the third one is reviewing the hours I spent last week working. I try and look at where it was allocated. Was it on customer support? Was it on marketing? Was it on operations? Was it on personal content? And it's something I've been doing in the past maybe 9 months or so. And it's been very effective to look at where allocation has been and then where I can delegate more or where I need to change focus. If we're struggling in marketing, I need to spend more time there. And it gives me a really good pulse of how I'm actually allocating resources, the time that I have, to whatever tasks need to get done throughout the week. The fourth one is just a review of personal finances. So I'll go into my banking app and then I'll add it to Excel. Just all of the expenses I had that past week. It takes me about 5 minutes, but it just gives me a reminder of, hey, I'm either spending too much money or here's where my money's going. It's just, again, a better look into what is actually occurring. In the fifth and sixth one, I'm going to combine together, but that is the camera roll and then audio messages. Go back and review them throughout the week. So I'll take vlog videos or pictures throughout the week. There's some things that just aren't relevant at all. I'll delete those. Same thing with audio messages. I'll go and review them, delete them. If it is an audio message, maybe I didn't label it, I'll go put a label on it, but it's just, again, to clean it up so there's not just a bunch of junk there, getting ready for the next week ahead. The second thing I do for an effective week is high-level scheduling. And so what that means is looking at my calendar for the next couple weeks, and I see where are the meetings I'm having, what tasks need to get done this week, what are the things that I need to spend more time, allocate more time, or is there a commitment that one of my team members needs from me? I need to make sure it's on my calendar. And so I look at the week and then I start designing out the calendar. If there's big gaps in the day, I'll say, okay, I'm going to block this off because it's open right now. Make sure I have time for deep work. There are two things regarding my calendar that I've noticed has created more efficiency, productivity for me. The first one is scheduling meetings from back to front. So I'll usually schedule the last time slot of the day that I want to work. So say maybe that's like a 5 to 6 meeting. Then I'll do one from 4 to 5 and then 3 to 4. But I'll start from the very back first so then I can have my morning for deep work, because that's usually when I'm going to be the most concentrated on the tasks that require the most energy. It's not going to be perfect in all cases, but try and block those things together, which avoids basically that point number 2 of one of the things I struggle with. If there's just a random meeting in the middle of the day, a lot of times what you're going to be doing is you're going to be thinking about that meeting beforehand, and then you don't have enough time throughout the rest of the day to actually lock back in and be effective, because you're like, okay, wow, we're already to the later afternoon. I'm getting out of this meeting. I'm thinking about other stuff. You're not able to focus. So I try and put those latest in the day as possible to be able to focus more on the front end. And the second thing I do with calendar scheduling is I allocate certain days to specific functions. So my Mondays and Thursdays are going to be allocated to my meeting days, my networking days. My Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday mornings are all going to be related to deep work. So being able to work on projects, really focused, turning my phone on do not disturb, just being very intentional. And then some of the afternoons, I have certain things like I'm working on personal content, maybe it's podcasting, a few other things like that, but I try and allocate to the day. So then every week, it's just a machine. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to think too much about it. It just becomes kind of second nature. Number 3 is team preparation. So we could wait until Monday, but by Monday, it is already too late. What I do at this time is I'm going to schedule messages. So things that need to be scheduled out on Monday, maybe it's department updates. It could be other notices that need to go out to specific team members. And then also setting the meeting notes. So for our one-to-ones is having that ready to go. So I'm already thinking about that ahead of time. And what this is going to save is a scrambling Monday. Everything you can ready going into Monday. So then in the worst case, something does come up. You're not scrambling just to barely stay above the water. We want Monday to be super effective. And the fourth and final one is going to be the other personal tasks that come up. So that's usually my weekends or my time to reset, so I don't get too disorganized coming into a next week. So what I do for time saving throughout the week is first, I'm going to meal prep. So for those of you that have seen my meal prep on YouTube or my socials, I'll usually get chicken of some sort, chickpeas, asparagus or beans, some quinoa in there, some marinara sauce, and I'll make that for my lunches throughout the week. So it's very consistent. It's easy. I can put it in the microwave, put the marinara sauce. Maybe if I'm feeling great that day, I can put a little avocado or some guac on it. And then my lunches are good. So it saves time throughout the day. I can keep working at a good clip. Number 2 is going to be getting the laundry done. So making sure that that's all cleaned up. Again, just a personal task. Number 3 is going to be cleaning my room, making sure I got a good state of mind to enter into the next week. And then fourth and finally, coming to the very end of the day, I'm going to actually set my workout bag out. I'm going to have my clothes ready to go. I'm going to have my shoes by my workout bag. So all I need to do is get up in the morning so I can get right out the door and get right into my workout. And the reason I go through all of that is because even if the smallest thing might go wrong on Monday morning, we have prepped, we are ready to go. Everything is taken care of. So even those little tiny disturbances, we can still move forward with that momentum to come into another effective week. And so those are the 4 things that I do to have an effective week, but truly it doesn't stop there. Every day is going to be a battle. Wake up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Things are going to change. You're going to get a meeting canceled. You're going to have somebody move from one day to another. Something's going to fall through. The project is going to be delayed, etc. And so while the weekend is critical, every evening it's prepping and having an intention for the next day. I'm going to go back to the third point that I struggled with, which is not planning the day before. It could just be a lazy finish to the day. I'll take care of it in the morning. But what happens is when there's not intentionality, when there's not a clear direction, usually you just fill your day with things that aren't very meaningful. There's a law that I like called Parkinson's law, and the law says that work expands to fill the time for its completion. If you give something 5 years to be completed, it's going to take 5 years. Even if it could be 2 or 3, it could be less. And so when we bring that down to a day, when we're like, here are the things we can get done in a day, and we extend it, or we're not clear, we're going to end up filling that up with menial tasks that aren't really moving the ball forward. And so I just encourage you to even reflect as we conclude this podcast today. Are you taking the time the week before? Are you looking at the week ahead and saying, these are the specific things I'm going to get done? This is exactly how long it's going to take me. Are you spending the night before saying, you know what, I've had a tired day, but tomorrow I'm going to give even more than I had today. I'm going to be very effective with how I'm going to schedule my time. Because when we do that and we're intentional, we're going to use our time effectively. But when we don't, we fall off the rails and we look back and realize, what did I even get done these past few weeks? So in conclusion, if this episode resonated with you in any way, if you could share it, if you could like it, that would mean the absolute world. But in the meantime, keep crushing it, keep moving forward, and let's keep changing the world.